What's going on, everyone? So it looks like the Golden State Warriors may have just accepted defeat. They might have just accepted that no star or anything like that is coming. Draymond Green recently spoke about and talked about how himself, Steph Curry, and Steve Kerr have both made it clear that the Golden State Warriors should not mortgage their future in order to try to win now, chase a star, do anything like that. As Draymond put it, bad teams do that. So sounds like, assuming that is true, and that's not just like, he's trying to stick up for his organization, right? Draymond, he's a company man, right? So he's over there just like, hey, we don't want them to sacrifice everything to go make a push, go make a run, right? We'll figure it out type thing. Is he just kind of, trying to stick up for his guys? Is he just trying to stick up for the organization? Or is he really serious? Does he really mean that? Right, because Steph has talked about how he wants to win, right? And he doesn't want to be going through a rebuild and all this stuff, right? So, has he changed his tune? Or are we looking at maybe a potential Steph Curry trade at some point? Now, I do think that there is a genuine argument right now that the Warriors, there's nothing really out there that makes sense for the Warriors, right? But I've talked about, the Warriors need to pick a direction, right? If Draymond and Steph and everybody, if they all are under the understanding, hey, we don't want you guys to tear it down. We don't want you guys to jeopardize the future and mortgage everything for us, right? If that's true, right, you're the Warriors. I really do think that you should ask or have a conversation. It doesn't have to necessarily be this season or at the trade deadline, but in the offseason, hey, Steph, what do you want to do, right? Do you want to write it out? Do you want to stick here and just retire a Warrior? Draymond, same thing. Do you want to stick here and retire a Warrior? Or do you want to start looking for places that you can go to, maybe contend or go to a destination that you want to go to? Where do you want to go? Let us know. All right? And that does a couple things. One, you're doing right by your stars. And two, now you can go, hey, we're doing right. We're trying to it shows to the next wave of stars. It shows to the next group of people, right? Hey, they took care of us. We're going to take care of them. Wherever Steph wants to go, if it is LeBron, if it is, Miami, if it is New York, if it is whatever, right? We'll send him there. Draymond, where do you want to go? Do you want to go with LeBron too, especially Draymond, right? Sorry, just thinking about Draymond and his infatuation with LeBron. But, do you want to go to Detroit? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And you send them, right? You get the best returns possible, and you just go, hey, we did right by them. Right? And now you guys look like the good guys. Now you can, wipe your hands and go, hey, we did our part, right? They did their part by doing right by us and the fan base. We wanted to do right by them, and we did that. Now everyone looks at you as you're just the hero. Or the other side of that is Steph and Draymond go, no, we want to stay here. We want to retire Warriors. We don't care. Do what you got to do, right? Essentially what Draymond is saying that they've talked about. But Draymond and Steph being okay with them not mortgaging the future doesn't mean that they want to stick around for that, right? So that's something you got to keep in mind. Just because Draymond's hey, we don't want to see the Warriors mortgage the future, bad teams do that, it doesn't mean that Steph is going to wait around and be oh, you know what, hey. But if you give him that option and he says, hey, I want to stay, well then now, again, you're absolved. Now you can be hey, we tried to do right by Steph. We gave him a way out. He wants to stay. We're not going to get rid of Steph. That's our guy, right? If he wants to stay here, he can stay here. If Draymond wants to stay here, he can stay here. They want to retire Warriors. Guess what? They're retiring Warriors. And now, again, you are free, clear. You guys did the right thing, and the Warriors look good. But I do think that they need to pick a direction. They need to pick a lane. Either, and again, I don't think that there's anything Nikola Vucevic, who they're linked to, I do think makes some sense. But you don't have to sell your key pieces in order to do that. Jimmy Butler, again, I do think makes some sense, but that's kind of just right now, literally right now in the next 2 years. Beyond that, it's who else is there that really makes that kind of sense to go make that push, right? Obviously, if a Giannis becomes available, I think it'd be more so in the off season, right? Where the Warriors can kind of go because there could be several guys available. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant could be available again, right? Giannis, De'Aaron Fox, right? There's a lot of guys that could end up being available. If you're the Warriors, right? Do you kind of wait, see if you can go make that push, see if you can go get that guy or two, and then if you can't, then it's okay, hey, Steph, we can't do it. Right? It's not in the cards right now. And then you look to trade him, or do you just look to trade him in the offseason, right? And you just send him where he wants to go. I mean, there's a couple options there, a couple possibilities, but I do think that the Warriors, they need to pick a lane, right? Like they've been trying to balance these two different timelines, and it just doesn't work, and it's not going to work, and it's not going to magically work. You're not going to magically figure out how to make these two timelines work. Right? Like, if you could do that, every team would do that. It just, you're trying to do two different things. Steph isn't, 30. If Steph was 30, right? Like, you might be able to take a year or two to kind of figure some stuff out, and then now no, he's not. Right? He's got probably 2 years left. I mean, he could probably play till he's 50 because he's such a good shooter. Like, he could always move into, like, the Ray Allen role and just be, like, a corner three man for, like, any team. But in reality, right? Like, chances are, like, he's probably retiring in 2-3 years tops. And then at that point, it's like, I understand you want to hit the rebuild, but hit the rebuild at that point. Or, like I said, trade Steph, trade Draymond, tear everything down, keep the young guys that you have, and really kind of, carve out this roster with those young guys. Can you go get a nice young center to pair with, a Pod and a Kuminga and a Moody and all these guys, and just really kind of try to head in the direction for that next wave, that next group of players, right? And then add a couple guys in the process too. You're probably going to get, 2 or 3. I don't think, like with Steph, I don't know how big of a return you get. You're going to get a pretty good return, but I don't think it'll be like historically great like he would if he was 30, because teams are going to be like, dude, I got like 2 years with this guy, right? And that's assuming he stays healthy and all that stuff, right? So there's a lot that not only the Warriors need to navigate, but any other potential teams and suitors for a Steph and a Draymond, if that ever comes around. Now, it's very possible it doesn't. Steph and Dray might have already made it clear, like, hey, we don't want to go anywhere. We want to stay here. We want to retire Warriors. This is where we're happy. This is where we're comfortable. This is where we're going to be. This is where we're going to stay. And again, if that's the case, then great. Fine. Not like they did their part, right? Steph is cemented, right? Draymond is cemented. Right? Like, there's not that concern of like, oh man, Steph has got to get another chance. Like, no, like they're cemented. If they're happy and they're comfortable and they don't see themselves playing another jersey and they want to be lifers in Golden State, then beautiful. Be lifers in Golden State, right? Like, to me, it's up to them. But to the Warriors, they need to pick a lane. They need to make a decision. And in all honesty, it might be best for them to just trade Steph. Steph might not ask out. Right? But I think you at least need to have the conversation. I think you at least need to have the dialogue and just be like, kind of like, hey, where's your head out? What are you thinking? Here's what we're thinking. Here's where our heads are at. And let's try to kind of either find a middle ground or let us know where you want to go. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my points? Disagree? Are you kind of mixed in the middle? Do you think that, just keep it as is? Look, Steph and Dre clearly are happy. They don't need to be traded. Don't trade them. Do you think, no, like you got to trade them. You got to look to move off of them at some point. However you feel, love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.